Gilded.
How can you say the Gilded when you're an Edinburgh student and you know it's
TV.
La Tivoire?
I know it's TV. Well, you heard him as well?
Of course I was.
Ah, well, there you go. Yeah. Right. I just call it the Gilded for reason of reference because that's what most people think of it. But I mean, I know
Middlesex, would you mind coming around here?
I know it's TV, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, right?
And it's the potro, it's not the fucking pleasant anything. Yeah.
I'm standing in the middle, okay.
You're standing in the middle,
I'm standing
right?
in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a purely off-the-cuff interview, right? Because we've got Mitch Benn, classic of the radio, and we've got Tom Benjamin Wild Esq. You did a song that people listen to that.
I did a song, yeah.
You did a song.
A few songs, yeah.
It was rude. It had swearing in it.
That's all you need.
Right. So singing people. Why is Tom Lehrer important?
Well, I mean, it's just. I think it's the unique combination of the amount of impact that he had in the short time he was around. That's the thing, and also the fact that unusually. Normally when you're talking about somebody who makes an immense impact, it's like Nick Drake or it's Kurt. They died. It was Tom just stopped. He just went.
Yeah. He's not dead.
No, he's not. He's 97 years old.
On his own kind of.
On his own terms, went back to teaching mathematics. He's been there ever since.
So, legitimate question: why have you two not chucked it in and gone back? Why have you two not chucked it in and gone back to teaching mathematics?
Because I've never taught mathematics or indeed had a day job of anything.
I was crap at maths. I was rubbish at maths and science at school.
Do you think that your careers as music people would be better if, like Pythagoras, you understood the connection between pure maths and music?
Well, there was a big. In my school, I only did music to O level, but the music A level kids and the music and the maths A level kids was a big crossover. So evidently there is some kind of connection there, and obviously it's all really about harmonized frequencies. I mean, there is an underlying mathematics to music. But I don't know if one is. I don't have an appreciation of what is necessary to have any kind of facility with the other.
I don't know whether kind of like being able to being good at maths means you can kind of work out what makes a good.
Would you mind
song.
talking into the microphone?
Do I need to get
you
closer?
have to talk into the microphone like that, rather than out in the garden.
I thought I was projecting my voice quite nicely there.
It's a lovely voice, and you projected it very well. But do try to do it into that.
I don't know how much kind of being good at maths makes you a good songwriter. I don't know.
I don't think it's.
I'm not good at maths, so
I don't know if it's a necessary component. But like I said, there is obviously some kind of. There is a level on which it's all about. It's all about numbers. It's all about some harmonising for you. There's a reason certain notes work together. Harmonise and clash. And sometimes they can be made to clash interestingly. And that's jazz. Or that's metal. But
I think Tom Lehrer was just an excellent musician, as well as an excellent.
Okay, so that's my next question. Yeah. What matters more? Is it that Tom Lehrer was a great musician, or that he was a great comedian?
He would dispute that he was a comedian. I mean, certainly, his between song. That's why definitely what established his reputation is the live albums, because his between song spiel is great. It's just, obviously, like I said, the man just radiates intelligence, but in a completely non-threatening, non-exclusive kind of way. But also, I would say, I make the point in the show that I think one of the things that initially, impressed me about him is that the musicality is very prominent there. Sometimes I find that in comedy songs, the music is a bit of an afterthought. It's just a kind of a delivery system for the words. And I actually think it's funnier if the music is better. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I
think, Hold Your Hand in Mine wouldn't be so funny were it not for the fact that it sounds like this. Hold Your Hand in Mine wouldn't be so funny were it not for the fact that it sounds the way it's constructed. It's like an authentic sort of 1940s love song.
It's got a great melody. It's got a clever melody to it. Mm-hmm. It's got. I feel like I am talking into it, Dan. I'm talking into the microphone.
Well, you can see, look, he's got his waveform. Look, there's his waveform.
There's
his waveform. It's enormous.
But
I start that waveform.
The other thing,
I get many amps at a pound. Yes.
On the other side of that is that you can have kind of people that don't have that kind of. I find Tom Lehrer's lyrics perfect in terms of how they flow and the rhymes. And what they're saying, because I find with a lot of kind of lyricists, you find a lot of lazy lyrics in there to try and find a rhyme or to try and get anything. But everything Tom Lehrer does is really, really kind of
Well, you know, if the rhyme doesn't present itself, you'll mutilate some of the words until it does. You know, that's the way it works. I mean, but I remember, you know, for example, I was a few Edinburghs ago. I was back to back with another musical comedy act, and I remember watching this whole show and thinking, well, this is pretty good. This guy had his band. I remember thinking it was pretty good. The music was all very Route 1. It was all very, you know, 3 or 4 chords, and it was all good stuff. And then he ended it with, I forget if it was an encore, whether it was actually part of the show, this heartbreakingly beautiful love song that he wrote for his wife. You know what I mean? And it was, you know, it's like the, you know, the and you know, and this time it's me sort of Mike Yarwood thing at the end. I think, you know, you do the straight bit at the end. But melodically, it was gorgeous. And I remember being faintly annoyed. They're thinking, oh, wait, you're this good. You're this good. You're this good at tunes when you actually give a shit. You know what I mean? And suddenly it's like, even you don't think your comedy songs are worth your best stuff.
I
do you know what I mean?
love it when you see a comedy music act that is so good at music.
Yeah.
They're kind of so good musically, but they've chosen to lend it to kind of like humour and joy.
Well, I mean, you know, one thing's
rather than trying to kind of go down the serious.
One thing's of Victor Borger immediately, you know, and certainly Rainer Hirsch, who definitely I think models himself to a degree on Victor Borger, you know. But that's kind of classically trained musical angle of everything, you know.
So let's just go through it. What is your training, Mitch?
Oh Christ! Well, I mean, nothing much. I mean, I had piano lessons as a kid, but as you saw today, not as you bloody notice. I grew up in a house full of guitars. My mum and dad used to play in folk clubs in the 60s, you know, but then I didn't really start playing them until I was a teenager. When I was 11 years old, my school got hold of a double bass from somewhere, and I was the biggest kid in the whole school, so like, you, huge boy, play this. And so I ended up playing double bass in school orchestras for a while. And then I got into guitars, so I was 15, 16, you know, got in, you know, playing, you know, in rock bands and everything, and other than that, but I mean, there's always been... You know, I mean, I write science fiction novels as well, and while they're not exactly comedy...
Would you like to plug one right now?
Yeah, the trilogy's called Terror, the Terror Trilogy. Terror, Terror's World, and Terror's War, all available on that site that we don't name.
Why not Soul 3? Why is it not called Soul 3?
Soul 3 is a Latin name for Earth. But, yeah, I mean, because it's not... Terror's World is not actually Earth. Anyway, but there you go. Terror's World is a different planet. But the...
Stop talking to other people. You're in an interview.
That's okay. But, so there's the...
Student.
Yeah, well, there you go. What you are or they are?
No, he is. So Pat over there.
Yeah.
I used to teach media production at the local college.
Okay.
And Pat, who is now a magician.
So that works.
One of my
Could you point your mouth at it?
So that works.
I can point my mouth at it.
Yeah. So while we've got your mouth pointing at it, do you find it, Tom Benjamin Wild Esq, do you find it a big hindrance not to have been an Edinburgh student? Because all the best and most beautiful people are all Edinburgh students.
You know, I'm sure it would have been great being an Edinburgh student.
Well, are you though?
Well, one way to definitely advantage now is if you manage to hold on to your digs over the summer. There's definitely an advantage now because Edinburgh, I mean, I can only really put it because I lived up there. You know, I did my degree, then stuck around for a little while. Still got a few friends up there.
I did 2 degrees up there.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I introduced you to my missus. She's got 4 degrees in the doctorate.
I went to Middlesex University.
4 degrees and a doctorate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's working on a 5th degree. She's working on a degree.
That's
in comedy.
Radio 4 money right there, folks.
What did you study?
History, obviously.
What did you study?
Ostensibly languages, but I spent the whole time in the bedlam.
I studied performing arts at Middlesex University.
All right, okay, tell you what, Mitch Benn.
Yeah.
What venue number is Bedlam during the Edinburgh Fringe?
Is it 39?
It's 49.
49, and it was a
49.
Yeah. Because my first Fringe obviously was doing stuff at the Bedlam in 1989. It's 36 years since my... And actually, the guy I'm staying with this year is a bloke I shared a room with that year. So it's like, you know, the history just repeats itself all the way around. But yeah, and then I did stand up for the first time there probably about 94. And then, you know, it's... But, you know, I mean, Edinburgh Uni, I think Edinburgh is just a great place. It's not so much the uni's good, when the uni is good, Edinburgh's just a brilliant fucking place to be a student.
True fact.
It's just a great place to be a student. Yeah.
It is. It's extremely good.
I'm sure it is. I've never been a student in Edinburgh. I love Edinburgh as a city.
Where's Middlesex Uni?
It was Trent Park.
Trent Park,
which was
okay.
north of London. So if you kind of think Cockfosters, Oakwood in London. That's
Like me, Middlesex goes on a bit, doesn't it? Because I live now just across the river from Teddington, and that's in Middlesex. So Middlesex actually starts at the north bank of the river and just keeps going to Watford?
Pretty much.
Yeah, blimey.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we were kind of sold on living on the edge of London.
Yeah.
Now listen,
we were
Ian,
about as far on the outskirts of the edge of London as you possibly
now
can
listen,
be.
our Ian, who by the way is the single greatest. He is the single greatest agent I have ever met, right? Because this guy, Ian, right? Apart from that, is it true he was Bruce Forsyth's agent?
Oh, yeah, he was Bruce's guy till Bruce died.
But
yeah.
he loves you. He loves you.
That's
I
nice.
met him years ago in the debating hall at Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's no way he's properly improvising that. And he literally took me aside during the interview and explained to me why his Mitch was interview. Right? So here's my question, right? Which has nothing to do with Ian, but I just wanted to put it down there. Right, but we have to end the interview on something. If you could wipe history clean, wipe history entirely clean, and claim one Tom Lehrer song as your own and get away with it, what would be the one song that you could wipe history clean and people would say, that is a Tom Benjamin Wild Esq song, that is a Mitch Benn song? Which is the one that you would actually steal from Tom Lehrer?
Probably the one that I'm ending with a slightly bastardised version of. We'll all go together when we go.
It's not slightly bastardised. It's entirely bastardised.
I've written some new words for it because we're allowed to do that now. But yeah, I've always because one of the reasons I'm ending.
Why are we allowed to do that?
Because all Tom's stuff is now out of copyright. He rescinded all his copyrights 4 years ago.
Are you guys going to do that now?
Well, I mean, I'm not because Jesus. I mean, the thing is, Tom's probably he had a fairly well-paid maths job until he retired in 2002, and I'm hoping that he has some kind of savings going on, and also he's still been getting the royalties for this stuff, 60 years after he stopped doing it. So I think he figures, at the time he was 94 years old, I think he figured I've made all the money I'm ever going to need to make out of this. Let's just see what other people do with it.
Tom Benjamin Wild Esq, if you could steal one Tom...
Poisoning Pigeons in the Park.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. It's the first one I knew.
Yeah.
It's the first one I learned how to... It was one of the first songs I learned to play on the ukulele that wasn't a ukulele song. And actually on YouTube, I think it's the first video that I posted on YouTube of me playing Poisoning Pigeons in the Park back in 2016. I think it was. That was my very first year.
Well, there you go. At 12 minutes and 22 seconds, and maybe we will do a squirrel or two while we are poisoning. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Thank you very much. God bless you.